Koi vs G2, ladies and gentlemen, was a great one. Let's fast forward the draft. I did think that G2 showcased a lot of good adaptations. Smolder into Senna is something we will see more and more, but I do think Senna might just be really, really OP. Really, really OP. I think this draft, I think that the side lane play is very, very contested. And I think that Senna, Nautilus just contribute way better to that conversation than the Koi bot lane. Because I think it's a lot easier to force first with Ahri, Wukong, Camille, and then Senna, Nautilus. I think they just contribute more. So it's like, I think that Smolder cannot keep up in this type of a game. Like, she cannot keep up, like, he cannot keep up super well in such a game. And I think that's very frustrating. Because Senna ult and Nautilus on the roams is just stronger in the setup, and I think that's a problem for Smolder. Like, AD carry is not going to be a central point in this one, so I am not super big fan of the Smolder lock-in or like where the draft went after Smolder. I thought BB did a good job on Camille. I think that's like a very, very important detail. I don't mind the rise into, of course, Ahri. I think in terms of the matchups they ended up on, they did a good job. This death though is kind of crazy that you end up on this death. Like, I don't know, Jojo is looking to posture and pressure. Obviously he's getting excited about playing, but he already got a pretty decent win. And here Caps will just hold base, and he just got baited. I think this matters super, super much. Let's continue. This is also something we're going to see more and more. The slow push in bottom side on wave like 6, 7, 8. Right, minute 5, jungle at 9 camps, right? 9 camps jungle is 36 CS. You know, 36 divided by 4 is 9. So 9th camp is level 5 for jungle. And if you base early enough and you get to be the one stacking the bouncing wave, because you have control of a bot, you can always make the enemy catch and give you full info and then hit the Drake in that swing. And this we're gonna see this more and more, you know? And this will allow you to play fully focused on top side and move on to the next step. I think the re-entry into bottom side is very greedy from G2. I think this full-on roam here from Nautilus doesn't make sense. They just want to punish the Rise who has no flash. But I think you can't be greedy here. And I think it's important that Wukong and Nautilus actually play on the same square meter. Because here we see like jungle and support actually being desynced, and Koi actually punishing for it, you know? This is something that the G2 is actively working on. I think that if I would rank the teams in terms of, you know, the mid, the support jungle synergy right now, I think at the top would be Fnatic. I know it might sound crazy, but Fnatic's early game is still the most precise. Then I would put Koi, and then G2, I think they are incrementally getting better for sure. The stonks, the G2 stonks are rising when it comes to jungle and support. And then last, KC. This is KC's biggest weakness in my opinion. And in a lot of cases, they outmuscle through strong solo lanes, or they just outmuscle through team fighting, right? That's something to pay attention to, because all the other teams are kind of getting better at this, and Koi already, they had this as a big strength. And this is one of those moments where G2 kind of, you know, we have Wukong play for the crab, and then Lavrov over posturing, over hovering, getting caught in between because Koi is grouped, but the play was kind of over. Wukong could have played in isolation, didn't need to look for the fire because Wukong would just get 6 from, of course, the crab. But if they are on the same square meter there and Hansama plays patience, it's also okay. And they can take the time and they can just end their bot aggressively because they secured crab because Nautilus committed all the way. Now we continue. Big one here is because Jojo Pune has no flash. That matters on the entry. Here G2, just because Smolder and Rel are into top side, push out Ahri. G2 are not looking to swing the turn. I think this is something that you can give props to G2 for, because they are very, very good at choosing their fights selectively. Here Ahri is here, a lot of teams would hook in here, and then we would have an active 4v3. And obviously, in some cases you can one-shot, but I don't think they have enough burst to actually kill, you know, a catalyst, you know, 350 health plus, you know, item that, of course, the Rise is carrying. We continue. So 2 for 1 in the grub department, perfectly fine. This is a very, very cool play here from Caps. You know, Caps is looking to just take over because BB got chunked so he can base and then open top side. Caps had the initiative from top side because he pushed out the wave and then based. And then here, I don't know, Rise is like freezing. In fact, Rise is like kind of trolling, if I'm going to be honest. The fact that Rise is not like hard pushing this is really, really troll. I don't know what he's thinking. He should just hard push and deny and get a move for his team, or like base and open bot. So Rise, I guess in the end, he does hard push because the wave wasn't close. Maybe I'm being overly critical. He did push. So I guess he did the right thing. It was just a window here where Mirwin, of course, they should know Ari tempo, and he should know that after this wave, he should just, you know, wait, because Rise is going to get them information, the pinging question mark top. Yeah, Georgia Plune is actually hard pushing. It was Mirwin that is just playing impatiently. I was saying that wrong, or seeing that wrong. A little bit too early there Q on Skimon. It was better for him to R2 for the move speed and then look to Q. Once again here, just Caps. Look at that tempo swing he finds. He has that ward in Pixel and pushes out bot completely during the Drake, which is the wave steal because he has vision of Pixel. And then he TP's top on the Camille side, which is super, super good gameplay. Caps already found a really nice play onto midwin. And then, oh, this was very ugly from Georgia. I don't know, like, it is very, very ugly. He flashed too late. If he flashed on time, he could have made a good play, you know? Let's fast forward. Take a look at the Drake setup here when they actually base. I think Ansama here should be ready to hit Alvaro when he enters, but I guess he has no Q and walks away. I think that he can poke Alvaro here a little bit. I think he went a little bit too fast back to the mid wave, because here he can hit him for free, I think, on the face check, and would have been better. Yeah, he's under no threat, but here Alvaro gets to take the bush kind of for free. But good turn in the end. G2 had the first collapse there with the Ari. I like that. And good flash out as well from Skimond. You can see the difference from that grub situation, where they just, here they stand their ground because Ari has first move, and in the previous one she didn't have first move, so she didn't stand her ground, which I think is super cool. Here Ambessa tries to steal the wave, but it's kind of unfortunate because I think Ambessa doesn't die if... like maybe she can still go like this, right? Maybe she can still go. I guess she can still go. It isn't the wall that is the deciding factor. Everyone just tries to steal the wave, so they are at a tempo advantage on top. And let's see if Elioya actually ulted Ari top here off of the root of Rise. Actually find some counterplay. Because here, this is a rare moment of desync from top side because Rise is over pushing the wave. And Rel and Smolder and Pantheon are not on time to pressure Caps off the tower. So yeah, Caps takes a big risk and he gets the wave, even though they are heavily understaffed in the top side. So very, very nice steal there. And if the enemy gets to kill you bot, and also they get to, of course, bro, I thought for a second picking up the flames there, I extended the duration of it for some reason. Yeah, just the side lane play has been fucking immaculate here from G2's side. The Kabil and Ari synergy, the kills that they got on side. I also feel like Caps is just returning to form because he just has such a great understanding of which waves he can push and which waves he can play on. This is also like BB doing what Caps did, right? Where they pushed out and then they just overtook topside completely. This is just a beautiful macro play from G2. They're actually like becoming a side lane team again. Which I think it's like people pointed to Caps underperforming, but I think Caps doing bad in games is usually a signal of him not being allowed to play his own game. But this is just a clear example of like side lane masterclass, pushing out. Like Caps did a great job of stealing waves, and BB here, after he pushed out both all the wave, understands that he has a big window to go full top side, and they just right click into the jungle, straight up, nuke the first target. This is very similar if you guys watch the scrims with Gaetan. This is something he also calls for when he gets to push that deep wave. Obviously, this is kind of ugly, but I don't really care about reviewing the mechanics of situations. I'd rather like look at the decisions. It's like everybody knows that they overreached here and should have based and retook bottom side. They just got a little bit over eager because they killed Pantheon. Alright, let's take a look at the ending of the game here. So yeah, similar thing. Ari is pushing a very, very deep wave, and Ambessa chooses to TP while this deep wave is being pushed. G2 like play with such good composure in the 3 because they're just buying so much time for G2 solo laners. I think this is just really, really good awareness. I think the play is fine from Koi's side, but also like in terms of window, like looking at the economy here, like RFC being so close, you can argue that maybe this is just terrible timing to fight. They're just looking for the TP flank, right? But so hard for this group to actually break through. And maybe Jojo can also commit with the boys, but they're just funneling themselves. I think it just wasn't a good play in hindsight. And that's GG. So this was a bit boring, but I think the main thing for me is I will never believe anyone in Europe, really, besides maybe Kana, to be able to win games with Jace into Sion, Nafir, Italia. I think there's just too many opportunities for the enemy to actually kill you and break your economy, and you're not going to be useful for the whole game. I think if they had any other top laner, just like a bruiser, like Renekton, I think this would have been such a free win, I think, for blue side draft-wise. But I think in this context, it's not that good. You know, it ain't that good. I don't have super much to add because this was a very, very long one. I guess we can take a look at some of the later sequences because G2 did a good job of sacking dragons, and I think that they made a mistake leading up to the 4th one. I just kind of think that they got a little bit too creative about how they approached the situation in the fight, because all they need to really do is just defend this mid wave, and then after they defend this mid wave, like they don't need to force like this. I think they can just wait. Okay, they lost the Drake, but still Elder, super winning position. Let's fast forward a little bit. I just want to look at the sequence where they kind of throw at the game. Ocean Soul. Everyone's calling out that this moment looked so similar to the Faker one, but like I think what was so brilliant about the Faker one is the fact that like the range, it's like I understand why people view it different, because obviously it's like the only thing that is similar is like Azir and Varus, but Faker, like take a look at the Faker one and it's so much more insane that maybe people remember. Look at this.
Very tough not to have the cleanse.
Look how Faker is flying, by the way. Look how Faker is flying. Look at this. He's flying. And also, I don't know. Look at how Gumayushi also plays the fight. How unfair! Look at Gumayushi, okay? Gumayushi is dropping. He gets CC'd. He's in the bailout, but he hourglasses last second. He hourglasses last second, and they get the reset. How crazy is that, by the way? I don't know. Like, this team was not fair at all. Like in their form was, I don't know. You just had 5 of the clutchiest clutch players of all time in each position. It was something else, man. Something else. Jesus. I think the only thing that was like interesting was that G2's 10k gold lead just insta disappeared on the spot, and now they are ahead in gold while being 12 turrets down. Yeah, that's a good game 3. Yeah, this one I think just it kind of came down to draft, in my opinion. I did think that the blue side draft was easy to play. I think Trundle and Braum can be strong champs, but I think that this was a scenario where it was harder to play. I do think that Yone, I think Annie is an insane champion here. And I thought Super is kind of crazy for not running cleanse. I thought he was very, very greedy. I think that's kind of like the only thing that gave them chances, because there was this big window where there was no Mikhails, no cleanse, no nothing. And that gave opportunities for G2 to actually fight back in the game. Good pressure on the camps from Koi. I think BB Gwen is not something that he played super often, but at least they are opening Rumble, right? The Jojopyun, these very, very dry mistakes. Not sure what my man's cooking. I like the timing here of the Annie E on the Yone W, because he got cooked. Like, he got one tapped because he clipped both. And obviously there's a return thornmail damage from Annie E. Yeah, Caps has like, what, 7 solo kills in playoffs? Like Caps fathered both Humanoid and Jojopyun. Like, straight up adopted them, you know? 3rd All-Pro. Yeah, Caps didn't have a great split. Or what does that have to do with his playoffs performance? Like, when he's 3rd All-Pro, do you think anyone's saying these players are better than Caps? No one is saying that. They're just saying in this regular season they happen to perform a little bit better. That's what it means. Yeah, I still think Humanoid had a really good regular split. What does that have to do with how shit he was in playoffs? Has nothing to do with it. I think the main tricky thing is that Caps got so much done in this game, but the main tricky thing is that Trundle just doesn't you know, provide anything in the 2v2s. He cannot match Lilia anywhere, and Yone and Rumble just have the freest game ever, you know? Especially with the phase rush on Rumble. What was the issue in previous KC team? This is not really relevant to the review. I don't know why, but this Trundle thing just looks like a penis pump, no? Like, what do we do in Riot Games? I guess it makes sense. This is Trundle super fan. It's like all League fans are just gooners, man. This is just a fake base angle from Jojopyun. Just reading why BB fell for this. I think he's just calling that Yone is on base and overpush it. BB's not playing any flash. Does picking Trundle made sense in this comp? No, I already addressed it. I think when you see that top side, Kaiser, Yone, Rumble, I don't think Trundle's gonna get that much value. I think they just expected the melee support to come through. It's like they skewed their draft really, really hard, just because any first pick Kaiser, and they assumed with Rakan ban, right? Rakan ban, they expected like Nautilus to come through, or like you know, Rel, etc. And then, but it's like they skewed themselves so hard into countering a melee support that the Renata lock-in it's like you just lock it in not to get fucked as a melee support, because you would just want CC together with Kaiser, right? Nico's obviously the best, but you get the point. G2's weaker because they have, you know, different players. Different players, and that's it. I think that all teams will have like lower peaks possible regardless because of Fearless. That's something everybody goes through. So I do think Mickey is just like the dream match together with Caps and BB as players in the super role. And I do think that if G2 had Mickey together with Skumond and this roster, I think that they would have been so insane this year. I feel like Mickey would have been perfect with this team, because I think Mickey does the things that would allow Skumond to take all the camps he wants in the world. Mickey would be the carrier to Scumon's owner on this team, you know, in terms of like playstyle. I'm not saying they're as good as T1, I'm just saying in terms of playstyle, you know. Just checking here, what was the reason for Rumble to face check like this? I also don't like that Renata is showing on the midwave. That's like the most awkward thing about Koi's comp, is that Renata and Lilia like didn't really play that well on side or together. But they pick Renata for the purpose of team fights. So. I don't think Tineki's take is crazy. I do think that G2 play very slow. I think the game one here was really good from their side. That was like an outlier, I think. But G2 do play very slow and around objectives and don't take any risks in terms of how they choose fights. No, I think finding fight angles against a disciplined G2 is not easy, by the way. I think they're very good at tethering to the enemy and not inviting a fight. Like I think this is one of their strengths when they are in a position to do so. It's just that Koi don't have like the easiest engage tools either in this game in particular. Like they have Renata, Lilia, Yon. Like even the fight that they got, you know, it was a bit of a miracle, you know, because I think that G2's composition just allows them to be more active in between objectives. That's like the main thing. It's like Zaya with cleanse is never under any threat on mid, so jungle and support can be a little bit more dynamic, and if they can be dynamic, they can disturb Rumble and Yon on side, and then Renata is just playing, you know, catch up. Yeah, if we could make like a Frankenstein out of the league teams in the LEC, we could make a good competitor for internationals. Yeah, both the teams are really lacking engage, you know? Both teams are lacking engage. So it's very hard if someone's first to an objective to retake and to break. This game pretty much breaks off of the back of you know, the fat combo that comes up here. Maybe not now, a little bit later. That Jojo Pew on Q3 is so crucial that it lands on BB here. Because without it, there's no CC and Super can't fly in. Superman. I think people are very much underestimating LPL, which is always going to be the case because so few people actually watch LPL. And people watch, for example, the top esports at the international, which was, you know, unenthusiastic, so to speak. But I do think that the LPL teams are going to be fucking tough coming into MSI. Very tough. Very tough. Here we have it. 3 items on Annie. And I think this was the high point for Jojo Pune in the game, for sure. I think G2 tried to get something done with the pillar, but I think them fishing on the mid waves just doesn't excite me enough. And Caps sending everything to try to kill Alvaro just wasn't the move, because in the end, Alvaro actually gets his spells off. And I think this was the biggest win for Georgia Pune, and also one of the bigger mistakes of Caps, because I think they legit win this game if they just wait for Flash. At any point, is the game winner for G2? Yeah, I think it is. I think it's not super easy for Koi to actually start fights. And I think that G2 can be first into areas, and Gwen is recovering in the scaling department. I think in this sequence as well, like if they just wait for any Flash, I think that this is very playable. But they are the ones forcing on midwave without Flash, and they do it without Gwen even being here. Take a look at Gwen's position when they force. This looks more like a Fnatic move than a G2 move, you know? If the Annie was piloted by Razork. My homie Razork. Best early game jungle. One of the best one in the world. He just needs to be a little bit less trigger happy. And then he's just the best jungler in Europe instantly. I don't think that Europe has anything to offer at MSI. I hate to say it, but I watch every LCK game, every LPL game, and I think MSI will be so hard. It will be so damn difficult. We got Nash, Caps' Flash, and I think the biggest signal here is these items arriving at the 3 core and the 4 core. Before there was no QSS, there was no cleanse, there was no Mikael, you know? Like, that gave Caps entries. But now with the QSSs, in a straight 5v5, there should never be a win. G2's strength in this comp comes from how well they play side. Alright, let's take a look at game 4. Yeah, I think this was just, I don't know, G2 was just on one, you know? They were in the pocket, and I think when you see G2 drafting like this, and they have like these cheeky combos, they have a Draven angle with the Blitzcrank into the Nico, Blitzcrank together with Maokai as a combo, and a Swain angle that is this juicy. I think that you just know that G2, you know, G2 is back in action, you know? It's like on paper, I think I don't think KOI's draft is bad. I don't think it's bad at all. They have some good matchups. They can fight back. It's not super easy, but this is like G2 full comfort zone, you know? Full comfort zone. I think for me, it speaks more to the headspace of G2, which I think is a really, really good one. If this is what they're presenting in a game 4, you know? I think this is really cool, you know? Elioya with the cheeky Drake start at minute 5 with 28 CS. Like, this is some bold shit, man. Really, really bold shit. You know, this is like close to just being GG, by the way. But respect to Elioya. Respect to Elioya and the gang. You know, this was freaky, very dangerous. Look at that, bro. I don't know. If you're a G2 fan, you should get goosebumps whenever these guys are in proximity, bro. Like, there's like a spirit link between them, and when it's broken at 1200 range, then G2 will die. When these guys are on the same screen, it's so good. It's so good, man. Honestly, you're right. They do look like two. This is fucking... There's two astronauts. They do look similar. Alvaro with the E-flash missed. Draven doesn't get the shutdown. He doesn't have mana. Hansama flashes. Yeah, Caps didn't get the base off. Like, Caps in all of this still didn't base. Because he jumps over the wall. Like, Caps is so fucked lane-wise. This is his base timer. Like, look at Victor already walking out. Like, Caps is in a disastrous spot. And G2 are, like, continuing the play. Caps just wants to go home. He just wants to go home. At least BB's in a very good matchup, but very, very good matchup. He's just delaying Super and has good condition. Burnt Super's flash and 1v1 for his own flash. G2 with the jungle pressure. Super pathing. Super, I don't know. I feel like Super is the type of player you need to piss him off for him to play better or something. It's not personal for him with G2. It was personal for him to be against Casey. I didn't think he was... like, his performance against Casey was probably one of the best performances he's had in his whole career. But yeah, it's like the Nexus just exploded, guys. In front of our screen. Accelerated Tristana, accelerated Draven. They can pick up LDRs, no problem. Against the tanky front line of the enemy team. And the Swain is free scaling. Nothing left to add, really. I think that's it. That was the one.